Hey guys, I am let's start again. I am live, and yeah, if you can't hear me, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going and presume that you all can. Thanks, guys. The chat's already going this morning. That's been fun sitting there just chatting away. I got my coffee. I got my coffee this morning after I dropped the kids at school. So it was before 9 o'clock. So it was over an hour ago, and it was so burning hot that I couldn't even drink it. So I'm still going an hour later on the same coffee. Hello, everyone in the chat. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. I've been in there saying hi to a few of you already. But, yeah, I can see that Joan's also popped in. So hi, Joan. And, yeah, Meridy's there. I didn't see her in the chat before, but hi, Meredy. And, yeah, thank you to everybody who's here. And Gimble's here now. Hi, Gimble. You guys are so funny just talking about that video, and that I really what did Megan just say? That who was it? Oh no, Liz. Where is it? Where is that comment that I just saw, Liz? Liz is trying my photography style. Or so, maybe it hasn't come up in StreamYard yet, but anyway, one of them said that she puts my video on while she's working so she can try and keep up with my speed. So I think that's really funny. So yeah, thank you. Hey Kent, you're here. How you going? Hey Fairy When Whispers. My StreamYard's really behind. Who else is here? Lainey's here. Hi, Lainey. And yeah. And so anyway, I'm going to keep it fairly basic today. The last few weeks I've been on a few rants. I've had some mixed feedback. I've had a lot of people who really enjoyed my ranting and speaking a bit of some truth bombs. And I've also had some people who weren't so impressed and let me know it. So anyway, it is what it is. Not everyone's going to like everything I have to say, but today I thought I would keep it pretty general, because I just noticed last week I've been going out to some of the thrift shops again, and I'm not saying I haven't been to thrift shops in the last month or so, because a couple of my thrift shops have been open, but I haven't been looking for the clothes in as detail, just because I didn't want to touch everything so much. So I don't know, I was kind of looking. I've got quite a death pile here, so I was going out thrifting more for the sake of just going to have a little bit of a look around, but I wasn't doing massive hauls like I'm used to. And I did decide last week that I was going to go out and get some fresh stock, because I think I was feeling really, when you have your death, this is the problem with having a death pile. You have a death pile and then everything in it becomes stale, and you kind of just, it looks boring. I don't know about you, but if something's been in my death pile for a long time, to me it's boring and I just don't even want to photograph it. Whereas if I go and buy something new, it's kind of new and exciting, and I want to come home straight away, and I have so much more ambition, that's the wrong word, but so much more motivation to list it straight away if I've just bought it. Where if it's been sitting in that death pile there for 2 months, it kind of just feels like a bit of a drag, it's lost the appeal and lost the interest. So Ian's here, I can see him. Hello. Minikin's here. Good morning, Minikin. And Georgina, hello, gorgeous. And Star City Picker. But yeah, so I was just saying, last week I decided, no, I'm still trying to get my mojo back. I have still been a little bit, I think it's just this whole lockdown virus, social distancing, everything. I thought, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do some proper hauls. I know I didn't really need any clothing stock, but I just kind of felt like I needed to get that mojo back. And so I thought, bugger it, I'm going to go out and do a couple of big hauls. And yeah, I just couldn't believe the prices that were in Vinnys. So for those of you not in Australia, we have the two main stores in my state, Salvos and Vinnys. We do have like a couple of Anglicares. We don't have any Lifeline. We don't have many small independent ones here. So basically for me, it's Vinnys or Salvos. So when I was going around last week, and some of you will have seen it because I did do a, what's it called, like a daily vlog where I took you through some of the stores and I was showing you some of the prices. But I just really couldn't believe how expensive Vinnys had got. And like they were always in, like where I am, Vinnys is a little bit more expensive than Salvos. And that's for the simple fact, I think, that Salvos have every single week, one of their colors is on sale for $2 and another one is on sale for half price. So it's quite easy to pick up a bargain in Salvos when you can get things for $2. Whereas Vinnys only have a certain color of the week is 50% off. So if their pricing is already that little bit higher, even at 50% off, you're often still paying $4 or $5 an item rather than that $2. And I do find there's less available in Vinnys on the half price sticker than at Salvos. So in general, yes, Vinnys is a little bit more expensive, but those prices last week, they just blew me away. Like I barely saw anything under $8, and like so many items that were like $15, $20, $25, even $30, you know, like just flicking through the racks of like, especially the winter stuff. I just think the winter stuff was, you know, zip ups and jumpers and stuff that weren't even like good brands or good condition, and they were like $20. There was a Big W women's plus size basic long sleeve top for $20. Like you wouldn't even pay that new in the shop. Like Kmart items for $7, $8. Like I can't even. I just can't fathom it. Like I understand that these shops are there for business, and I know that a lot of people are like poor people can't even afford to shop there anymore. And I think I shouldn't say the word poor, low income people will even be struggling to shop in those charity stores. They'd almost be better to go to Kmart and Best and Less and Big W and get things on the clearance racks. Like it's the pricing is insane. And I do understand if somebody is absolutely no money and they go to Vinnys or Salvos, they will give them clothes to wear. So if you're to that point, I understand that the charity stores will help those in need. But like even just to buy something yourself as to wear as something secondhand, I think those prices are quite ridiculous. And I don't know if this is the sign of the times. I don't know if this is something that is going to continue for a while now. Like, is this something that they've put their pricing up because they need to recoup some of the money that they've lost during COVID? Like, obviously, they've also been donating a lot of money to people who are in need, who have lost their jobs over COVID, and I totally understand that. They've probably had more money going out. They've had less money coming in. But I don't know. I think I was expecting that the prices they would have like an influx of stock and an influx of people who've been stuck at home clearing out cupboards and want to donate it. And they've got an influx of stock because people are still dumping clothes out the front of their stores and they're not getting the buyers in. So I think I really thought that they would have their prices either as they were or even a little bit lower so they could keep moving that stock over as fast as they can. And it seems that they've even almost bumped their pricing up to recoup some of their lost costs. So let me just check the chat because I've gone on a little tangent there. Yes, Lainey, some people do need a life. Salvos and Vinnys are the same in Adelaide. I used to only go to Salvos and buy the $2 items. You know, sometimes you can get some good items for the $2 items. I don't have a problem paying up for stock if it's worth it. if it's going to make me money. Like, yes, I do like to get stock for $2, especially bread and butter stock. I definitely like bread and butter stock to be at that lower price. For something that I'm going to get more money on, mid-range item, high-end clothing item, I'm happy to spend money on it. I truly am. I don't have limits on what I will pay for an item. I'm happy to pay for it, but I just think, obviously, as resellers, we're buying stock to make profit on. So when something is charged at $20, $25, and it's only a basic, they had filler, like it was $15 or something for a little filler thin, half zip top. And I'm thinking, like, I could go out to the outlet and buy filler on sale for $15. Like, why would I buy a second? Like, it's crazy. So obviously, as resellers, we can't make the profit on that we need as a business, because that's what we are. We're a business. And like it's expensive even for people who are just love to thrift shop, love to charity, op shop, whatever you want to call it. And they're buying for their own personal needs. Well, a lot of those people just like to support the charity. They like to buy secondhand so that things aren't going to waste and different things like that. But for us, it is a business. So we really have to be looking at those prices on whether or not we can make money. And like, it is a bit scary if it's going to continue in this way to be really high. Yes, we still have Kmart. I love Kmart. Hard to get my family to op shop when Kmart's fast fashion is so cheap. It really is. Like, you can go in there and, pick up stuff for, next to nothing, really, can't you? Like, I was buying things in there the other day for $1 on sale, like $1. I can't even get it at Vinnys for $1, and this was brand new with tags. So, yeah. Somebody's saying they ignore them. I hope they're not talking about me. I'm trying not to ignore. The big charity shop here's put DVD movies up by $1, so $3.99. That's way too much for a used DVD. Yep, that's absolutely crazy. There's no way. Like, like, honestly, like, if you wanted to watch that movie for yourself, you'd probably pay $4, because, like, we sometimes go to the kids here. They'll go to they've got those video machines down at the supermarket where you can rent a video for a night. And like, I think it's about $4 to rent a movie. However, it is like a new release movie, so it's a little bit different. But, we're still happy to pay $4 to rent a movie for the night, and, if that's what the family wants to watch. So I guess if somebody's going down there for movie night and they just want to pick a movie for $4, but yeah, as a reseller, no way. Like, I won't pay more than $1 for my DVDs. That's it, $1. That's all I'll pay, because, like, by the time I pay postage on that item and only sell it for $10, like $9-10, it's not making much money. At my Vinnys, they said they had to hold donations for 1 month, be putting it all out, so their clothes are coming from the warehouse for now. Okay, so that's interesting. So they're obviously having to hold it because of COVID, so that, it hopefully doesn't contain anything and they don't put it out and are liable for it. Liable's not the word, because you can't really prove where it's come from. But, I guess it's just a health and safety precaution. But, yeah, it's just going to, I don't know. I just found that the stores here, they were absolutely full with clothes. The racks, some of the racks, like, you could hardly even flip through them with a gap. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't stand when you can't flick through it enough to, like, see the prices. You've kind of got to be using two hands. I like to go fast, click, click, click. So, yeah. Hi, Joni. How you going? Salvos have upped their pricing. God bless them. Like, my Salvos here still seem to be, the ones that I went to, they were still similar pricing to what, I didn't notice a jump. I really didn't. I was still finding items there for $2, half price. I didn't notice everything else to be gone up in any extreme. And, like, I bought, like, a heap, like, I filled the back seat of my car pretty much with clothes from Salvos. And I literally only bought a few things, specific items from Vinnys, because, like, it was just ridiculous. It's getting harder to find great items at a charity shop, it seems. Okay, so let's talk about that. So yes, there's more and more resellers coming around, but I also think there's more and more young people where it's trendy to buy vintage. It's trendy to buy things from a charity shop. And I've noticed even on YouTube, they're not people that I follow, but people that my 19-year-old daughter follows. And they're kind of like young girls who are like I'm not going to say beauty bloggers, but they're kind of just like young girls who have got like massive YouTube followings with like 100,000 followers, subscribers. And these girls, they try on clothes, they buy clothes online, and then they show off their wardrobes, they do makeup tips, they show how they curl their hair. So they're just young girls who get on there, pretty young girls who get on there and just talk about their daily life. Now, my daughter has showed me a couple of these girls have done thrift shopped where they go into the charity shops and find these cool brands and go into the change rooms, and they're taking video streams of themselves in the change rooms, not naked obviously, but just they're taking videos once they've got dressed in the change room, showing off these items and what they've found for how much in these shops. And these kind of people are making charity shops cool. They're social influencers. When they've got that many subs like these are girls like 50,000, 60, 100 more. They've got huge followings, and they're only like 20 years old, and they're pretty little things, and they go into these charity shops and they make it cool. And you know, those kind of girls are making Depop cool and all this kind of stuff. So those are the kind of people that are making it harder now for us to find things in charity shops, because not only are we competing with resellers, but we're competing with, younger generation that is finding it very trendy at the moment to go in there and look for mum jeans and vintage, and they buy band t-shirts and they cut them, they cut them so that they're cropped, and then they show that on their videos. They show how they buy these t-shirts, crop them off and wear them with their mum jeans, and they make them cool again. And there's so many more people who are out there looking for these finds. And I think what this will mean as well is it's harder to find great items, so you have to be prepared as a seller to sell some more bread and butter items, which is something that I've always done. I've always been a big fan of selling bread and butter. I will always sell bread and butter because it's what I can find in an abundance here. I don't know. I know a lot of part-time sellers don't like to sell a lot of bread and butter. They prefer to sell more items that are worth more money, but it might get to the point where if everything's being cherry-picked or everything's too expensive, then yes, people have to buy more bread and butter items that are on the sale racks, and we're all going to be having to look elsewhere to source alternative places to source. Where are we? If I've missed a question, please rewrite it, because I've gone this. Hi, Jane. Hi from Ohio, USA. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in. Yep. A lot of our charity shops are now boutiques or posh fronted shops, which shows in the prices. Over here, we have our Vinnys and Salvos. Not Vinnys so much, but Salvos. They actually have a boutique section of the store where they cherry pick the items that are higher brands. They put them onto a white tag, which means there's no discounts. You can't get them on the 50% days off or the $2 or whatever. And they are generally, most of the time, $10 plus. So they are here anyway for me. They're like $10 plus on the boutique items. But they do have a boutique section, and I think that boutique section I've noticed is actually got quite big in a few stores. Are car boots as trendy? Car boots over here are not so trendy, I guess, because of our housing situation. People here tend to have more garage sales at their house. So, and most of that is done in the summer. So where I am at the moment, it's coming into winter, it's cold. So most people, those kind of garage sales will die off, and then they'll pick back up in the spring, summer. And we do have a couple of like car boot type places here, which is held like every Sunday. And it's over in a car park at one of our shopping malls, and you basically go in there, you pay $20 for a stall, which is kind of like a, you know, as big as your car. You take it, you drive your car in, and you can set up some trestle tables in front of your spot, and, you know, but you have to get there at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Like I think it opens like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to the public, but everybody's there like some people sleep there. They get there like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch black. It's absolutely freezing cold in the winter. And if you're not there at that time, you don't get a car spot, and you miss all the early birds who are there for the bargains. So it's not really pleasant to do in the winter. Lainey's saying the British Heart Foundation here were always the worst for ridiculous pricing, even when I went just for us. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but I find bread and butter is getting pricey and harder to find sometimes, Mel. Yeah, I think you need to be looking for bread and butter now elsewhere. I think Facebook Marketplace is going to get a little bit more trendy for bread and butter items. Gumtree. I've been talking to Bron a lot, who is in Queensland. And now I went to Queensland in February to visit Bron and Rod and Drew, and we went thrifting for 3 days straight up there. And you know, if you were following me back then, you would have seen it. We thrifted for 3 days. We went to so many stores. I posted back here where I am, like so much stock, it was crazy. Now, all the pricing up there in Queensland at the time was cheap. Like it was so much cheaper than where I am. Tops for like $4, Country Road $4. It was really, really cheap. Now, Bron is saying up there at the moment, for a top that used to cost $4, she's finding them now for $14. Like the pricing levels have increased, and instead of her being able to buy huge bundles, she's now having to really pick very carefully and getting much smaller amounts per store because the pricing is so high. And she's also noticed on her Facebook, more than I've noticed down here, but she's noticed in Queensland that a lot of people are selling off big, large bundles of clothing. And it's a little bit hard to determine if they are resellers who are selling off bulk clothing, or if they are selling off personal, somebody's just cleaned out their wardrobe. There's a lot of the stores have been closed and they've got nowhere to donate it, so they're putting it up on Facebook as large bundles. But she's definitely noticed an increase on Facebook for bundles of clothing, and how much more expensive it is in Queensland. And last week when I did that thrift video where I showed some of the prices and I said how expensive it had got, I really, really noticed, like, I got a lot of feedback on that video, on the actual video, and via Instagram, people telling me that their stores were the same, that the pricings had all increased so much and it got ludicrous, and was just making it so hard for resellers. So it's almost like charity shops are competing against resellers with their higher pricing. Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to compete with us or if they're just now trying to recoup some costs. I think it's going to be interesting to watch. Is this going to continue and be a new sign of the times? Is this what it's going to be like now? Is it going to stay this way, or is it just going to be for 3, 6 months, even up to 12 months? Because, you know, the government is saying this is going to take businesses 12 months to 2 years to get back to where they were, to recoup the costs lost. So if this is 12 months to 2 years, like this is a long time going forward for us as businesses to know if this is something that's going to, you know, continue. And if this is something long term, like 12 months to 2 years, that's really going to affect our businesses as resellers. So I guess we all just have to wait and see. I think we're going to have a fair idea by about Christmas time where things are going. If it was like a sudden increase and then they realize that the stock is just not moving and they've got too much stock there, they need to reevaluate their pricing again. Or is this just something that they're going to absolutely continue and keep going? CG, a lot of the charity shops now have online stores or eBay stores, so I think they've realized they can get a lot more. Although come September, I think they'll have to drop their prices. I did have a look the other day at the new Salvos store to see how it was working, because I did wonder how it was going to work. And it did seem like each particular store is uploading some of their own photos, and you can either go in store to pick it up or you can order it, pay for post, and they'll deliver it from, Australia wide or whatever. I did notice that the pricing was very high, so they're obviously looking at eBay pricing for their online store. I didn't feel like it was charity store prices. It certainly wasn't the $2 days online or anything. It does look like it's cherry-picked items that are specifically put on there. I'm not sure how it works, but if they put something online, do they then have to set that item aside and store it for a certain amount of time before they then put it onto their shelf to sell? Because if they just put it out onto their store shelves, they're not going to know if that item sells. So I think in itself, that's going to be hard for a lot of the smaller stores, because they're not going to have the space to be storing a heap of items that they've put online for their online store. So I think that will be interesting. I don't think we're going to see I don't think that's going to be a huge threat to me as such. I really think that if each of the stores locally are putting out a few items, it's only going to be minimal, or it's going to get very hard for them to manage, because they're going to have a set area in the back end of their store somewhere to keep the items that are listed on the website. I think that will get tricky for them to manage storage-wise and stuff. So anyway, that will be interesting to see. Don't worry about charity eBay stores. They'll never gain enough knowledge to sell successfully unless they hire resellers. That's probably a really good point. A lot of they do have a lot of elderly staff that works in the charity stores. They also have a lot of people with some special needs, I've noticed, and a lot of them are simply volunteers, or they're doing work because they've they're getting up community service hours for a reason, for either a court reason or whatever. So yeah, I think they'd have to have quite a switched on manager who was overseeing that to make that work well. I do agree, Leanne, that somebody would have to be quite switched on. Hi, Mr. Blobby. In England, the major cherry-picked items go to the central storage for charity shops just to sell on eBay solely. Okay, that's interesting. So, yeah, they've got kind of like a main depot that's everything's comes in, posted off there. I can see that would work. But here they're kind of doing individual stores, and it's like each individual store is popping up photos just like we do as resellers. And then it'll tell you this top is from this store, and you can either go in store and pick it up, or you can pay for postage. Charity shops often don't realize how much hard work listing can be. I guess they save the very best for it. Yeah. That's going to be interesting to watch, I think. I don't see that as a huge threat to us resellers. I really don't see the online stores. After looking at, I did at first when they first announced it. I was like, "Oh, is this gonna be a big threat for us?" But then I was kind of like, when I looked at it, I was like, "Nah, that's not a threat to me." I think the biggest threat to our business at the moment is that the pricing becomes too high, and it makes it so it's almost pricing us out of buying stock there. And then we as resellers have to look outside the box and find other places to buy our stock. And if you're used to being somebody who's only ever looked into buying stock from charity shops, then that's going to come as quite an overwhelming new step for you in your business. I know that I buy most of my stock from the charity shops. I don't tend to go around to garage sales. I find them time consuming to drive from house to house, and often I go to a house and find nothing. I also don't find as many clothes at a garage sale, and I'm primarily clothes, shoes, and book seller. So I think garage sales are very good if you do hardwares and electricals and a lot of that random homewares and different things like that. But for me, whose niche is kind of more narrowed down to those books, clothing, shoes, DVDs, and CDs, it's kind of I don't know, like mine is I'm more narrow, I guess. So charity shops work better for me. But, I noticed that I have definitely in the last few weeks been scrolling Facebook Marketplace more, looking for deals. Gumtree, I've been looking on Gumtree for deals. And I guess it's trying to work out now, where we go from this. But, also the problem with higher pricing in a charity shop is it's more time consuming. Like, you have to spend longer. Like, what I noticed the other day is that I spent a long time looking through racks and racks and racks of clothes, looking for either higher end items that I'm prepared to pay them more money for, but even just bread and butter. And I found that I was leaving those stores with one or two items, and that's not enough for me as a full-time seller. I need to be coming out with basket load. I need big hauls because I'm a full-time seller that works off a volume-based store. So that's tricky. Like, it's very hard if you're spending a lot of your time looking for these items and coming away. Like, if you go to a charity store, you spend an hour in it and you've come away with two items, it's not really very productive of your time, is it? So that's another thing that we've got to consider. And, I like to go into a charity store in an hour and come out with a basket full of clothes. I like to go, yep. Okay, nope. Next rack, yep, pick. And I just pile it up on my trolley. I mean, you've seen some of my photos on Instagram. I have trolleys that are, higher than me. And that's the way I like to work. So when I go in there and look for an hour and literally get two items, that starts to build a little bit of anxiety as well. Like, holy moly, like I can't go spend 8 hours driving around charity shops all day, doing 6 stores and only coming out of 6 stores with 2 items from each store. Like, holy moly, that's actually stressful as a full-time seller, because I need to come away with, 100 items in an 8-hour day. I want to come home with like a stack of it. If I'm doing 8 hours of thrifting, I want to come away with a week's worth of sourcing. So, if I want to be listing 100, 150 items a week, then I need to find that in my 8-hour day, if that's the only day I plan to go thrifting for the week. Tricky. Hello, Raucious Reg. That's a new name. Nice to meet you. Nothing much under $12 to $14 in the close at my local Vinnys yesterday. CDs, $2.50 for a CD? No. That is absolute no. Like, we shouldn't be paying more than 50 cents for a CD. Like, really, should we? Like, 50 cents, maybe $1 if it was like a good CD, but $2.50 for a CD, that's absolutely insane. Books that should be $2 were $4. That's ridiculous in a country town. Wow, that is crazy. I saw books the other day that was $7 and $8. And I can't remember who it was, but somebody tagged me. I think they tagged me, or I saw it on their Instagram post. Harry Potter hardcover books in their Vinnys, $15. Like, surely you could nearly buy that. Blows my mind. Like, $15 for a secondhand book. Like, that's just a kid's Harry Potter. Like, that wasn't even first edition. Like, that's just insane. $4 is too much to be paying for a book. You cannot pay, well, I won't say you can't pay $4 and make money off a book. You can, because some books you'll sell for $50 plus. But for the majority of fiction books, you can't pay $4 for a book. Like, you're just not going to make that money. That's insane. And $2.50 for a CD. I mean, I don't know about you, but I sold a couple of CDs, 3 CDs I posted yesterday. One of them sold for $12.95, one of them sold for $7.95, and one of them sold for $5. So, $5, like, it's cost me $2.20 to post it. But I got the CD for free, so that was okay. But, like $2.50 for a CD, that's crazy. Oh, my hair, I'm having a shocker, guys. Where are we? Let me have a look. Let me have a drink. Now my coffee's probably gone cold. Claire, how do you predict the recession will impact on our reselling business? It's really, really hard to know, Claire. I think more and more people will be buying secondhand because stuff's expensive. And if we're all, sorry, this hair's annoying me. I definitely think people are going to be looking for secondhand. So in some ways that could be good for us. Maybe more and more people will be buying on eBay. They will, eBay was doing quite well during COVID. Sales picked up. I've noticed that it's definitely dropped back off again. And I didn't have great sales on the weekend. I think yesterday I shipped 30 orders. I was so rushed yesterday. I had a massive, massive day yesterday. I literally got to the post office at 5:02 and they shut at 5:00, and I was bolting in there with my bucket of parcels. I didn't even have time to take my stack photo. But it did feel like a quiet weekend for me. So I don't know, I think eBay definitely doesn't feel as busy to me as it did maybe a month ago. I definitely think more people are going to be buying secondhand, but I definitely think more people are conscious of money and they're trying to sell their own goods for money also. So I think I don't know about you, but some of I've noticed some of the things on Facebook, people selling DVDs, movie series. I sent an offer to a guy the other day. He had a bulk lot of DVDs in his on Facebook Marketplace. And I sent him an offer and said, will you do a bulk deal? I'll take the whole lot for this amount of money. And he just came back and he said, I'm charging $5 a set. Why would I give them to you for $1? And I'm like, because I'm offering to take every single one of them off your hands. And meanwhile, you can charge you $5 for your one set, but you're going to have so many different people come into your house and you're still going to be left with them all. You're not going to sell them all. So I think people are starting to be almost a little bit greedy. I know that sounds bad, greedy, because we're obviously selling these items he's selling it for $5, and if I sold it on eBay, I would get more than $5 for it. However, I think, so it's hard for me to say, okay, these people on Facebook Marketplace are getting greedy. It's not so much that they're getting greedy. I think people are just becoming more aware that people are willing to buy secondhand and people will pay that. So I don't know. There has to be, we as resellers have to be not so greedy. I know yesterday I took a offer $8 on a Q skirt that I had on there for $25, and I took the offer for $8. I was just like, I don't care. I just want to move it, because moving stock keeps the store active and it keeps moving it. But I certainly don't want to be left with old stock, because people are getting more choosy with how much they're spending. I've definitely noticed that the offers coming in are lower. And I don't know if that's because during COVID, I noticed that sellers were taking lower offers and sending lower offers because everybody was a little bit frightened. What's happening here? what's happening with the world, what's happening with the country's financial status. People were worried their partners were going to lose jobs, or they had lost jobs, or they'd lost jobs themselves. So I think people were just taking offers because they just wanted money coming in. And I think buyers perhaps got used to that. And now they know that resellers are actually willing to take lower offers on a lot of items. And I think there'll be an influx of people making lower offers, because now it will almost be expected, because we made it acceptable as resellers to take lower offers, and we made it acceptable to send lower offers. And once you make that acceptable, then it becomes an expectation by others. So that's my thoughts anyway. I suspect that clothing prices on eBay are going to be lower if it's basic brands and basic items. I still think for 100% you will get good money on more higher end brands, vintage, specialty items, rare items. I'm not saying that those items aren't going to pull in the bigger dollars. I definitely think more basic brands, basic items, bread and butter, we're all going to have to be willing to take less money on them and make more profit. Our shops reopened this week and they all had sales on, reduced prices, sell off stock quicker, recoup the lost cost, simple. I really think that's how it should be. Churn and burn at the moment. They've got too much stock coming in. They need to recoup costs. And I just think that by putting these prices up here for so much money, it's going to take them even longer to recoup the costs, because people are going to walk out. Like, I know that I would have been willing to walk out with a big basket load of clothes, but instead I walk out with 2 pairs of $5 items because I'm not prepared to pay it. Tricky. I'm really behind. I found a person who was discounting books the more you bought, but only up to a group of 10 books. And I wanted to buy the whole lot for 113 books, and he still wanted the same price for 10. Yeah, I some people are greedy. You know, like, you would think that it would be so much easier to just go and sell that entire lot as one big haul than to have a stream of multiple people. I mean, we all know on Facebook Marketplace, people can really stuff you around, and they make times to come and see you and then they don't turn up, or they make times to come and see you and then they change the time, or they make times to come and see you and then they barter at your front door when you've already agreed on the price, and you're like, then it's awkward because they're standing right there. Facebook Marketplace can be a pain in the butt to sell on. Buyers can be an absolute pain in the butt. So you would think that if somebody came to me, if I had a whole lot of CDs or discs or something, and somebody said, I'll give you this for the whole lot, I'd be like, yep, come and get them. But I don't know. No, they're not like that. DBG, I'm up 331% over 30 days since I switched from eBay UK. Now, those who don't know Leanne, she's in Scotland? I think it's Ireland. So she's in Ireland, and she was on the eBay Ireland, and she was really struggling with it. So she's switched over to the eBay UK, and her sales have increased, and she's doing amazing. So I'm so happy that's worked for you, Leanne. That's awesome. Oh, my tummy's grumbling. Can you hear it? How embarrassing if you can hear it. Hi, Mel. Those CD prices match the Vinnys in Sydney. I have a nearby Salvos that sells textbooks for $10 plus, cookbooks for $6. 2 suburbs and 15 minutes away, the Salvos sell books for $2 to $3. It's so varied, isn't it? Like, different stores have different prices. You know, there's some stores that I will only buy books on the colored sticker. Do you know what I mean? On the half price sticker, like, because it's just, I know that I'm not going to make money on them otherwise. Sometimes you'll go get a store that's got cheaper prices and you have to really sift through it anyway, because it doesn't mean that they're all good. They're not all good books. You do have to sift through. I do sell a lot of books, but not all books sell well, and not all books make you a lot of money. So you do have to just sift through and cherry pick the ones that are going to sell. You are going to sell for $20 plus with books, I find. Unless you can get like a really big haul for really cheap off Facebook or off Gumtree or somewhere, and some of them might be hit and miss, and you can just recycle them or redonate them. Clothing sales were down the last 3 months. Well, entertainment items were way up for me. Yep, Jane, I have to agree. My clothing sales have definitely been lower. I would say a month ago, they were not too bad. I definitely think the last couple of weeks, the clothing sales have been down. However, I haven't been listing as much, and I do think that's partly to blame. So I have just got, right now, I've got 2 massive tubs here of clothing that has all been photographed and all been edited. And this week I'm going to get it all listed because, I definitely sometimes think to keep the clothing in your store active, you need to keep adding to it. And clothing is hard. Like, you don't want it to go stale. I've definitely got some stale stock in my inventory at the moment. I need to run a sale or something. I might run a sale this weekend on the clothing just to try and move some of the stock that's got a bit stale over the last few months, and see where we go. My sales diminished because I wasn't listing, but I was still making sales. Yeah, that's definitely the same with me. Ozzie Bargain Hunter. I still do good sales even when I'm not listing. That's because I'm still active in the store. I still send offers. I'm still printing eBay order postage labels. My store is still continually active. So even if I'm not listing daily, I'm still making sales. And I definitely don't believe that you have to list to make sales, but I definitely will say that listing consistently will help your sales. So I'm never going to deny that. I definitely don't believe that you have to do listings dailies to get sales. I don't believe that. But you do have to be consistent in the amount that you're listing, whether or not that's every 2 days, every 3 days, or every day or 5 days a week, whatever it is, stay consistent in a way that works for you. Mel, you can run a sale just on the old stock, set the sale by date. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Fat Girl Sewing, I'm too scared. That's Wendy. I'm too scared to go and see what the prices at my thrift stores are. They seemed a bit higher before all the virus stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be so hard. We all need to start writing a action plan. I think it's worthwhile for people to go out and even like for market research, especially if you're full-time or trying to be full-time, go out to your thrift shops. Even if you don't need to buy anything and you don't want to buy anything, go out and have a look around. Have a look what the prices have jumped to, and have a look what your different stores, and think of it more as market research rather than as maybe a thrifting day. Clearly, if you see something good, pick it up. But I think we all need to be doing some market research on our local stores and have a look at which stores have increased their prices, which stores are still reasonably priced, and then come home and write down an action plan like, okay, is there enough? Are the prices good enough for me to be getting the amount of stock I need each week? If not, what am I going to do? Where am I going to stock? What are my options? Do I have, can I buy like storage units or go to online auctions to buy stock? Can I buy off Facebook? Can I buy off Gumtree? Can I put a call out for something? Can I ask friends if they've got something? Maybe I can buy bulk lots off friends. We definitely will need to look at that, or you're going to have to look at, do I need to sell something different? Do I need to broaden my range of selling? It's going to be tricky, and I definitely think that we're all going to have to be watching it for the next at least 6 months till the end of this year, so that then we've got a plan going ahead for 2021. Yeah. Biggest listing day I had in a long time yesterday. That's me for a month. Rod, I was very proud of you yesterday. Rod messaged me at about 8 o'clock in the morning and said, I've been up since 6:30 a.m. I've already photographed this match stock, yada, yada. And then about 9 a.m. he sent me another message saying he'd edited 120 photos. I'm like, what's going on? We've got new Rod here. He's been working his butt off, and it's really good to see. So I've seen your sales as well, Rod. I've noticed your sales have picked up. So I know you've been listing more than you have in the last couple of months. So it's good to see your listing and your sales picking up and you being rewarded for that. Let me see. I'm scrolling back up. I'm trying to read. If there's a question, please. There you go, Megan. Let's go again today. I know Megan has been really motivating Rod, so well done, Megan. Join the club. Poor Rod's got all these women on his back all the time. I can't see a question. If there is a question, please hit me up with the question. I can't see it, but yeah, I don't know. I like, it seems like a lot of, even though we're in different countries, I think a lot of us are going to have the same issues. It'll be interesting to see. I think state to state, it's going to vary here in Australia, and we're just going to have to really just be monitoring it and keeping our options open, sourcing in different places. Maybe we need to set some time aside each week, like an hour a week or something for looking at other options. That might be something that I need to consider. Okay, this is going to be a dedicated hour each week for alternative sourcing, looking for new options, and trying to find new places to go. Do you have a plan for Q4? I think Q4 is always about having as much listings as you can in your store, because like it is busy in Q4. Christmas, November, December is always busy for me. So I think around about, which isn't actually too far, August, September, October, it needs to be heavy listing, because you need to be building, if that's your plan, to be building up your stock levels, then September, October, August, September, October, 3 months kind of before that Q4, you want to be building your store. So my plan for Q4 is to do more than I've done in Q1 and 2, basically. It's just, it's like I say, you just got to get that shit done, go, and just got to work hard. And my plan is just to list and build my store levels up again. My main store level is down by about 450 items, which is quite a lot. I definitely need to build that up. I want to get it to about the same point it was. So let's say 500. I want to add about 500 more items to my main store. I want to add about 500 items to my second store. And my third store is still a bit of a random mix, and I'm still not 100% sure whether or not I want to keep it or not. So I'm not really focusing on that store at the moment. I'm focusing on the other two, and we'll see how we go. I don't plan for Q4. I plan for January. That's a good point, Leanne, because in January, like December is the most expensive month, and January, I just find sometimes if you're not prepared for January and you've spent all your money in December, like it can take 3 months to catch back up again. But yeah, there you go. Q4, buy, resell, repeat like crazy. Yep. And spend the Q3 prepping for it. And I think one thing we've also got to be prepared for, and I know that in Australia it's different because we weren't hit with the virus in the same way that UK was and US was. But from what I've seen in the last week, UK have opened up their Carboots and different things, and I've watched some of the resellers like Nick and Peter and Peter the Vinegar Jar and different people. I've watched Peter Ray, I was talking about as well. I've watched them, Chris and Bill. They've been doing some videos on their car boot sales, and it seems that some people are very lax about this virus, and it's just like they almost don't think, considering how bad it was there in UK, it's almost like they're not taking it very seriously, some of them. It will be interesting to see if there's a second wave. And if there's a second wave, I think there could be some trouble. And I think that perhaps now everyone needs to be building up their stockpiles again, if possible. Now that things are reopening, I know that that's a bit of a catch-22 because you have to go out there and put yourself, in the danger zone of picking up this virus. But I do wonder if people need to be restocking their death piles now for Q4, because if there is a second wave of it and people can't get out there to buy more stock. So I think that's something we have to really consider. Like, do we need to be stockpiling? I obviously don't like stockpiling. I don't like having a huge death pile. But, if we get a second wave of this, and what if that second wave is worse? What if it's even harder to get stock with a second wave? Like, do we all need to be thinking of that now? We need to be finding this stock now. And, it's very hard if pricing has increased. Like, where do we get it? There you go, Nathan. Yep. Been to 6 car boots in the last 2 weeks, making the most of it in case there's a second wave. Yeah, I really do wonder if that's going to be an issue. And then people have already diminished their stock now. Their stock is low because some people weren't prepared with a death pile. Some people struggled with stock over the last few months with the virus. What happens now if there's a second wave and their stockpiles are already so low? Like, that's going to be really hard. That's going to be crazy. I have a great opportunity on Thursday. A beautiful op shop that hasn't yet reopened has offered me the chance to come shop. Oh, Megan, shopping on your own, go for it. Get in there and stock up. Yeah. Are you one of these guys from the infomercials? He's the voiceover guy. Like, he's got to ask questions. Okay, do you take part in listing challenges? I have done in the past, and I probably need a bit of a kick up the butt myself in the next couple of weeks. I know that you want to increase your listings, Ian, so I'm happy to do a listing challenge if anybody wants to do one. If you want me to organize one with a whole big group of people, let me know. So yeah, if anybody's keen to do a listing challenge, maybe next week, since this week's we're already in it, but maybe next week, if anybody's keen to do a listing challenge, hit me up either here or hit me up on Instagram, and we'll sort something out. We can do that. We'll go a thing. Just so you know, but I do get quite competitive. So if you want to do a listing challenge with me, you better be prepared to list. Because especially if it's put out there to the universe and everybody knows about it, I'll bust my balls to do that. So game on, Ian, game on. Where are we? I think a second wave will be harder as well when it comes to what sells, especially if a recession is hit hard during our second wave. Yeah, and it will be interesting to see if it's the same kind of things. Like, obviously during that first wave, it became all about the electronics and DVDs and CDs, and like Ken Skeets, who has like 8,000 DVDs in his shop, was absolutely pumping out like 70 DVDs a day in sales or something. Like, it was absolutely crazy. So it will be interesting to see, like, people have stocked up for that now. Will the same things, will people be again looking for jigsaw puzzles? Will they be looking for board games, and will they be looking for DVDs and CDs and music and media and stuff? So is that all the stuff that we should be stockpiling on now? It's so tricky to do. Go on a listing challenge. I'll kick your ass, girl. I think last time I kicked yours, Rod, but let's have a go. Okay, Megan's in. So we've got Megan, Ian, Rod. I think Rod just said he was in. Me. Anyone else? Anyone else? Hit me up. There should be handicaps in the listing challenge like they have in golf. I might have a chance then. Okay, well, there can be, the things with listing challenges is if somebody's listing a CD or a DVD, it's much quicker to list than it is to list a pair of jeans. So, maybe there has to be some kind of, it's like, I don't know, maybe there has to be some kind of point system or something. Like, yes, you do 100 listings, but if you're listing 100 CDs to 100 clothing, maybe that your 100 clothing counts as 2 points. I don't know. We'll think about it. I'm not game to go against you guys. You know what? Even if you do it so that you got, even if you think I'm not going to keep up with them, I'm not going to list 100, 200 items or whatever in a week, it will still push you, Gay. If you want to join in a listing challenge, even if you don't expect to beat the person in the listing challenge, it can be a really good motivation tool just to push yourself. And think of it as more of a challenge against yourself, but it's more like you're doing it with an accountability partner. And, I think with a listing challenge, you have to look on it more in that way, like look on it more as you're competing against yourself. And, obviously, if you're a competitive person like me, you like to win, but it sometimes is just good to push yourself, because once you do a week of heavy listing continuously, it just keeps your mojo going, especially if you start to see your sales picking up as well. It just gives you that motivation to keep going. So, I think listing challenges are good, not for the terms of actually winning. They're just good for pushing yourself. Baby clothes aren't too hard. Baby clothes are pretty easy, to be honest. Jane's all caught up on listing. Oh, wow. Well done, you. Not me. I've got a very big death pile. Oh, look at Rod. He's heading in now, heading into the Salvos. He's going to go buy all his new stock for his listing challenge. See you, Rod. Hey, Dwayne, how you going? Lisa's in. Okay, we've got another one. Where are we? eBay won't know what's hit them with all this listing. They'll be loving it. There you go. Just me. I'm in for the fun and the motivation of it. Listing challenge. Okay, just me. New name. I'm not sure. Are you on Instagram? If you are, DM me. Hit me up. We'll do it. We'll work it out. We'll work it all out. Maybe I'll work out the rules, and I'll do another little video for you guys on sometime this week, and we'll go through how it will work and who wants to join, and then maybe we can even talk about it the week after. So not next week, but the week after. I'm out. Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you don't. Just do it to motivate yourself, Leanne. Do it to motivate yourself. That's the thing. There you go, Gay. I'm in. Okay, Gay. I'm going to speak on behalf of Ian here. His listing is minimal. Sorry, Ian. So don't worry. you compete against Ian. Okay. Just saw your paisley boots on eBay. Do I have paisley boots? I don't even know if I've got paisley boots. Hey Mel, I'm Ozzie Flipper on Instagram. Have messaged you before. Please include me in the challenge. Awesome, Jonathan. Okay, awesome, Ozzie Flipper. Sometimes it's really hard to remember, like if it's a different name, it's hard to remember who's who and who's who. But Jonathan, I'll try and remember. I'll try and remember that. Okay. Guys, it's been an hour. I think we've had a pretty good chat about the pricing. I wasn't really here today to tell anybody how to do anything or that. I just kind of wanted to talk, that I did notice an increase in pricing, and I do think we all need to be doing some research your stores in your area and see if it's the same, see if they've also increased pricing. And if they have, you need to make a bit of a plan of attack and how you plan to go forward. You may need to revise your business plan. Everybody should have a business plan, a written down business plan, and a business plan shouldn't just be written once and left. It needs to be revised. And we've gone through a pandemic, and if you had a business plan before the pandemic, it needs to be revised. You need to look at it and change it up and work out some new goals and a new mission. And what are you going to do if the pricing in your local charity shops is too high to buy as a reseller? Where are you going to buy your stock from? Where's your alternate sourcing going to come from? What are your options? And every state's going to be different. Every country's going to be different. We all need to go through and tailor it to your personal needs, what you personally sell, what the options are in your personal area. Like, I can't give you the answer to that. It has to be made dependent on your situation. And if you're a part-time seller or a full-time seller and all the different things that come into it, I would highly recommend sitting down, spending an hour and writing out a business plan and a mission statement and going through those things. And I think it needs to be revised again in another 3 months. Write it out now, revise it in 3 months' time, once we can see what's going on, because we just don't know it. We just don't know. Like, we don't know how long business is going to take to get back to normal. And we need to be prepared, and we need to have backup options. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Yeah. Okay. I'll put something out on Instagram about this listing challenge that somehow Ian's got us into, and we'll go from there. But thank you so much, guys. If you didn't see my video last week, where I did do the bit of the daily vlog and showed some of the pricing in my store, a lot of that video was me flipping through the racks and showing you how high the pricing was. If you didn't see that video, I'll link it at the end of this video now, so that you can just click on it and go to it. But otherwise just search my videos and I'm sure you'll see last week's daily vlog. Thank you so much, guys. We had a great chat today, and there was heaps of people in the chat. I saw over 70 at one stage. I'm blown away. I'm really appreciative, and thanks, guys. Love you all. See ya.